In this video, we're going to talk about how we can write our first program in Python. And with programming tradition, we're going to write our first Hello World program in Python. In this video, this is what we're going to do. Number one, we're going to learn how to print text on screen. We're going to learn how to create Python files that could be interpreted. And we'll learn how to run Python files. It's actually all fairly easy. The first thing you need to know is Python is an interpreted language. What that means is, unlike something like Java or C, where there is a compiler and you have to take your source files, run it through the compiler creates binary files that could be then run. Python has an interpreter which just takes raw Python files and interprets them on the fly. So what that means is, in today's video, we're going to create a Python file. We're going to fill it with instructions on printing the string hello world onto the screen. I'm going to save it, and we're going to use the Python interpreter to run that script. Hopefully, the Python interpreter would then print the words hello world onto the screen, and that would have successfully put us through our first video. Let's see how this works. So here I have my Atom text editor. You're free to use anything. You're free to use like Notepad or something. Atom is good because it provides good tool sets around Python itself. I'm also in a folder that is just under my C drive, and what we can do is say we'll have new file. So all Python files end with .py, that's the extension, and feeding a .py file into the interpreter will tell him that it is a Python file and you should interpret it. So let's say we have hello world.py. So Python comes with a bunch of internal functions, and the built-in functions, you can see that online, the Python documentation refers it as built-in functions. One of the functions allows us to print onto system out or onto the console. The way you use this is like many other languages. You type the name of the function, you feed it parameters by opening a bracket. The only parameter that print takes is what to print. It could range from objects to lists to arrays, and it would all be printed onto the console via how that particular object needs to be represented. I can explain this later in the course. The easiest thing for us to feed into the print statement is a string, because a string is simply represented by itself. To create a string in Python, what you do is you can either use double quotes or you can use single quotes. Today we're going to use single quotes. We're going to say hello world, and then we're going to save this file. It is saved. Next up, I have my terminal open. So recall in our last video that when Python comes with a set of tools or apps, if you may, one of them is the WinPython PowerShell terminal. The WinPython PowerShell terminal allows you to load up a PowerShell, but also with the Python toolsets inside the environment. So for example, if you only open PowerShell vanilla, you're not going to see the Python programs. For example, if you type Python here, it will not execute. But the WinPython PowerShell variety allows you to do that. So we have navigated into our Python folder just now, where we have a hello world program. We can verify this by listing out all the files in the Python folder. And so we know that we have created the script hello world.py, which is interpretable by the Python interpreter. So what we do now is we simply say Python, and then we type the name of the script. So what this means is we invoke the Python interpreter, and then we feed it the Python scripts that we have just created in our Atom editor. And that's it. So you can see that we have successfully invoked the print function, fed it a string, that is hello world, and saved it as a file. After running this file through the Python interpreter, we can see that on the console it has printed a hello world, and that's really all there is to the basics of Python. Python is very, very easy. It's supposed to be hit and run kind of thing. I personally use it for a lot of scripting and ad hoc functionalities because it's so convenient, and I encourage you to experiment with something similar. In this video, we've learned how to print text on screen, how to create Python files that could be interpreted by the Python interpreter, and how we can run Python files. The overall message in this video is Python is very simple. It's very easy for you to get on the ground and running. So it's an ideal candidate for you to pivot into or just use and know as a side skill as a programmer. In the next video, what we're going to talk about is some specific features of Python, starting with how we can define functions, what are lambdas, and how we can use list comprehensions to create lists very quickly in a for loop format. I'll see you guys next time.